the prisoner, who stole Crores from the Bank of America and escaped from a high-security prison. In the heart of America, where the towering skyscrapers cast shadows over its financial powerhouses, one man stood out for his audacity and cunning. His name? Adrian Kane, a man whose name was soon etched into history, not for his skill in business or innovation, but for his audacious heist that shook the financial world, and a daring escape from one of the most secure prisons in the country. How did he manage to steal crores of rupees from the Bank of America? And what was the secret behind his mind-boggling escape from a high-security prison? Let's delve into the tale of Adrian Kane. It all started with a plan so brilliant that it seemed impossible. Adrian Kane, a man with a background in finance and technology, had spent years studying the vulnerabilities of the banking system. But unlike other criminals who relied on brute force, Adrian's weapon was his intellect. His every move was meticulously calculated. One rainy afternoon, while the entire banking world was distracted by a global crisis, Adrian executed his plan. He had already infiltrated the inner workings of the Bank of America's security system. A former insider had provided him with invaluable information, giving Adrian access to the deepest vaults where billions of dollars were stored in various currencies. Adrian didn't just steal money, he stole crores of rupees, carefully converting vast amounts of US dollars into rupees and stashing them away. The entire operation was so perfectly executed that by the time anyone realized what had happened, Adrian had already vanished without a trace. The authorities were baffled. The FBI, local law enforcement, and security agencies launched an extensive investigation, but there was no trace of Adrian Kane. His name was everywhere. The world was shocked by his daring heist. But even more shocking was what happened next. Arrest, a slip-up, or a master plan? It wasn't long before Adrian was caught. The FBI had been closing in on him, and one fateful slip-up during a routine check led to his capture. But Adrian Kane wasn't the type of criminal to make mistakes. His capture seemed almost too convenient. Many speculated that he had allowed himself to be caught. But why? Why would a man with such intelligence and power allow himself to be apprehended after committing such a grand crime? The truth, as it turned out, was even more shocking than anyone had imagined. Adrian's capture was part of a much larger plan. He had anticipated his arrest, and he had already begun his next move. Adrian Kane was sent to Blackstone Prison, one of the most secure correctional facilities in America. Known for housing the most dangerous criminals, Blackstone was a fortress designed to hold even the most clever escape artists. But Adrian Kane was no ordinary criminal. Life inside Blackstone Prison was anything but ordinary. The guards were well trained, the security cameras were state-of-the-art, and the walls were made of reinforced concrete. Yet even within this prison of steel and stone, Adrian Kane's mind never stopped working. Adrian had spent years planning, learning, and observing. He was a master at reading people and situations, and in prison, he quickly gained the trust of certain inmates. These were men with connections to the outside world, people who could help him execute his plan. His cellmates, who were criminals with a variety of talents, didn't know who he really was. They simply saw him as another inmate. But Adrian's charm, intelligence, and ability to manipulate those around him turned the situation to his advantage. Over the course of months, he gathered information, studied the guards' routines, and even began working with the prison maintenance staff. Every small detail counted, from the blind spots in the prison's surveillance system to the moments when the guards were distracted. Adrian knew that time was his ally, the escape plan, a stroke of genius. Adrian's plan was nothing short of genius. He knew that the only way to escape Blackstone Prison was by exploiting its smallest vulnerabilities, and he had identified one. It all began with a covert arrangement. Adrian had managed to create a network of people who worked both inside and outside the prison. Using hidden communication channels, he sent coded messages that were passed on to the maintenance workers. Then, on the night of his escape, everything fell into place. The prison's power system was briefly shut down, a malfunction that Adrian had orchestrated. In the chaos, the surveillance cameras went offline, and the guards became momentarily distracted. This was Adrian's chance. In the dead of night, Adrian slipped out of his cell. Using the blueprints he had carefully memorized, he navigated through a series of narrow tunnels and maintenance shafts that ran beneath the prison. These tunnels, once used for maintenance and repairs, had long